Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. Today's going to be a full-size quilt that's going to be in the vertical format. I know some people have said that they really don't like a square format, so I've decided to extend this. It does have a repeating pattern, so you can alter it any way you like. So to begin with, we're going to be using potato chips again. These are 2.5 by 4.5, so this is what they look like. And what I'm doing is I'm using some of the block styles I've used before. If you refer to my previous video 86, I show you how to make this one, which is basically 2 chips on the horizontal with 1 on the vertical. This one is going to be 3 potato chips side by side, so they're all in the vertical format. And I've done these colorways just to add some contrast in the quilt. You can certainly pick any colors that you like. So in the dark blues or in the high contrast blues, we're going to have 35 that look like this. And then in another colorway, I've chosen kind of the burgundies because that's what I have a lot of right now. And I'm going to be using 13 of these. And then ones that have a high contrast center with 2 low contrast, we're going to need 26 of those. For the background, we're going to, or in the low volume, we're going to need 25 that are just the normal unstitched size. And then taking more of these, we'll join them with another dark contrast, and we're going to need 4 that will just be 2 joined together with a low volume and a high contrast. And then we will need 2 that are going to be just a single high contrast on their own. And then we will need 8 that are going to be 2 in a high contrast by their own. I will outline the quantities in the video description, so don't be afraid to check that out. And as always, if you have questions, please feel free to give me a quick email. My email is sewwithdebee, so SEWWITHDEBEE@gmail.com. So let's get started. So there are 4 different rows in this design, and some of them do repeat. So I'm going to call this row A, which is also row 1, and we're going to be making 3 of these. So to begin with, what you need to do is take one of the high contrast, I'm doing it in blue, and you're going to join a single potato chip on the left hand side. And then you'll be taking another one with the vertical facing the same way and join one on the right hand side. So now that I've done that, I'm going to put the one where it's facing, the verticals are facing on the right hand side. I'm going to put that aside for now. And then I'm going to be working from the left to the right on this row assembly. So next what I'll do is I'll take the high contrast with the low, and I'll join it with, let's call this the ribbons, which are 2 low contrast with the dark, and these are green just because I want a lot of high contrast with these. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll be right back. So I've gone ahead and joined these together and gave them a good press. And then next to that, we will be adding another one of the bluer tone high contrast, and it'll be going like that. And then to add to those, you'll be taking the secondary high contrast colors and adding another low contrast to the left hand side. You can go ahead and make 13 of these because this will be used in every row, and those will end up being joining on this side like this. So let me go ahead and show you what it looks like once I've sewn them together. So the last part of row A's assembly is I've got these 3 units together. I'm now going to add this to the end with the low volume on the left, and then I've also made a repeat of the first block, except this is on the left hand side, and this is all to do with nesting from row to row, and you're going to end up with a low volume on the right, and you have another 3-color unit on the left, and that will actually get joined here. So once I get that done, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I now have row A all made, and as I said before, you will be making 3 of these, so I'll just slowly slide this along so you can see how the units pair up. And again, this is my colorway. I've got a lot of blue I'm trying to use up and burgundies, and then the green is just a color I really like to use because I think it goes well with them. So again, this is what we're doing, and by pressing to the dark side, it helps with any show through as well. So next we'll go on to row B. I'll be right back. So next is row B, and we need to make 4 of those. So what we're doing is we're basically advancing our rows. So it's going to be like a Bargello. So we will start with one of the darker, again with the vertical piece of the potato chip on the left hand side. Then we will add one of our 3-piece with the center dark, and then again another dark set of 3. So continuing along, then we will have the reddish color, and I've added the low volume on the left hand side. Again, another stripe set, and then another set of the 3 blue, and then a light, and I'm not organized here, so to swap that out, we're actually going to have a group of light with the dark on the end. So let me go ahead and join that, and again I'll do this in sets so you can see how it goes along, and I will take pictures as I go. So here's row B, and again we're making 4 of them. So I'll just travel this, and I'm working from the left going to the right. And this block this row ends with a low volume and a darker high contrast on the right hand side. And now we're on to row C, and we will make 4 of these if you're following the same size that I am. So again, working from the left to the right, we're going to start with 2 of the darker potato chips stitched together. Then we're going to have our vertical ones with the low volume and high contrast, and then another one of these dark 3 units. Then the reddish 3 unit with the low volume on the left. Then another of the vertical units with the contrast in the center and 2 low volume. And another one of the 3 groups of dark, a low volume, which will be added to a stack of 2 darks. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll take photos as I go along. Okay, so just to show you row 4, and again we'll need to make 4 of these. I'm working from the left going over. I'll just give you a preview of how it looks all sewn together. Some of these are dark, but they're stacked here. And the idea is having vertical and horizontal. It helps when we go ahead and have to nest all the rows together. So that's one reason why I'm turning these a certain way. So this is row C. So on to row D, our last block in this series. Okay, so we're on the last row, and there's 2 of row D that we need to make, and these consist of 1 high contrast potato chip, and then our nest of 3 with the dark in the center, and another grouping of 3 in the high contrast. And then we have this group of 4 that we made earlier. And then another group of 3 with the high contrast in the center. Another group of 3 in the dark high contrast. A light background potato chip, and then another group of 3. So I'll go ahead and piece these together, and then I'll show you photos as I go along. And now showing you row D from left to right. This one is fairly fast to put together. And as it says in the note there, we only need to do 2, which keeps it very simple. So the next part is joining these rows together. So let me set that up and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that we have all the rows made, we can join them together. And what I've done is I've written on the back of some scrap fabric that is too small for me to use in any project, a selvage mainly. I've written a letter A, B, C, D and pinned it on the very first block of each row. And someone had suggested sticky labels. I've tried that before. I use tape sometimes, and I decided just to give this a try, so that's what I'm doing. There we go. And the good thing about this particular way that we laid out our blocks is because, let me just move this. I hope you made a note of this. This is the first section, is because of how all the different seams are going. We will have a couple that we'll have to pay attention to, and I will pin these, but we do have some areas where we can take advantage of nesting. And you've heard me talk about nesting before, and it really does help you get those perfect areas where we can line them up nicely like this. And that's nesting. So I will go along and pin, and then I will do my 1/4 inch seam, and I'll show you once I have these 4 rows together. So the next group that needs to be sewn together is rows C, B, A, and B. So I'll do them in that order with C being on the top. So here's what the second group looks like. We have a row C, B, A, and B. And the next will be 5 rows just to finish it up, and then we can join them all together. And as I mentioned, the last group of rows to join together are C, D, C, B, and A, with A being on the bottom. I hope you like how it's turning out. So here it is with all the rows joined together. It is currently measuring 42 by 52. I am planning on adding some outer borders. So if I get time, before I need to upload this video, I'll certainly show you a sneak peek. I hope you like this. It has been a lot of fun to put together. I will put all the information in the video description if you are looking for it. Okay, so I've taken a look at it and I've scribbled out some designs and played around with fabric, and I've decided this is what I'm going to do. So I've sewn a neutral background 2.5-inch strip against the color of the quilt with the darker blue 2.5-inch strip beside it. These are actually jelly roll strips that I have cut. And then to the ends, I have 2 potato chips that I've sewn together, so those will act as the cornerstones. And then going down the side, I'll continue with the low volume strip here, and then the darker, which is here, and I'll do that in all corners. So let me do that and I'll show you how it turns out. Okay, here it is with the borders on. I just quickly put it up on the design board so it's not completely flat. So I hope you like the border, and as always I will put the fabric requirements in the video description. Keep in mind this is a Scrappy design. So until next time, sew safely and sew with Debee. Have a great day and bye for now.